Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. I am John Kurtz. If you have not subscribed, please do click subscribe right now. If you're a college football fan and you want conference realignment content, I've got that coming at you every single day, multiple videos per day right now with all the latest on what's happening in conference realignment in college football. And please like the video and comment. I'm just going to level with you. That helps me. It helps get more views, and it's going to in turn help you get more content. Plus, you can tell me I'm an idiot. You can tell me I'm right, whatever it is. I don't care. I love it all. I love college football and the passion, and I enjoy reading the comments. So please do that. Now, today I had a chance to talk with my good buddy, Ryan Hyatt. He lives out in Lubbock, Texas, covers Texas Tech like nobody else. He runs the Raiderland.com. He does a daily radio show in Lubbock. And Texas Tech, behind the scenes, if you start talking to people about Big 12 teams trying to navigate their way out to the Pac-12, Tech seems to be the linchpin. And that's basically because they're in a pretty large area in Lubbock relative to the rest of the Big 12, right? They have a large enrollment. They have a big alumni base in Dallas. So basically, you want to get in the central time zone, you want to get into Texas. Texas Tech is the option there. TCU and Baylor not as appealing to the Pac-12 because of the religious affiliations, and they're smaller. So Tech holds a lot of the cards here potentially, and Ryan has a great perspective on all of that. This is from my daily radio show today, and I think you'll enjoy his insight here on Tech and the rest of the Big 12 right now.
I think this may actually go much more quickly than we think it might normally go. We look at George Kalikoff, or however you say, Klavikoff, or, your new overlords out there in the West with the commissioner of the Pac-12. The great thing about him is that he's a new commissioner. He's not Larry Scott. The bad thing is he doesn't have institutional knowledge and relationships built. But if the Pac-12 wants to survive, they're going to have to move quickly. If the Big Ten wants to truncate what the SEC is doing, they must move fairly quickly, because the SEC right now, and I have to be careful. I'm a student of history. I was going to get a major in history when I was in school, but then I realized how many history classes you were going to have to take. I'm like, I'm done with that. The SEC is preying on leagues being cautious, leagues laying back. And there's no reason to think that the SEC will stop where they are right now if the Big Ten, the Pac-12 shows fear. And we also have the backdrop of ESPN bankrolling the whole thing, saying, yeah, we got your back. You do what you want to do if you can add real value. So I really believe that by the end of this year, we'll have a very clear picture of what's going to go on in college athletics for the next 5 to 7 years. And then we're going to blow it all up again and do this because it's great sports talk radio fodder, and I'm all for that.
Well, you're not wrong about that. You are not wrong about that part. Ryan Hyatt talking with me, our Texas Tech PowerCat Game Day reporter. And, hey, you make a very compelling case there as to why this could move much more quickly. And I want to focus in on the Pac-12 part of this, because it has seemed, at least last week, most of this talk was really hot and heavy about, like, hey, Texas Tech is the linchpin here to, if there's going to be a lifeboat out to the Pac-12 of some group of Big 12 teams, it's going to be spearheaded. The captain of the ship will be Texas Tech, because you can get into the state of Texas, and obviously Tech, based in Lubbock, much bigger city than everywhere else that's left remaining, bigger enrollment, etc. So is that still the case? Is there still a lot of buzz surrounding Texas Tech in the Pac-12 right now?
Yeah, absolutely. I think not only do you get the Lubbock market, Texas Tech's biggest base of alums is Dallas in the Metroplex area. So you get that. You get the central time zone, which the Pac-12 has craved, but they've not been able to figure out how to do it. I blame Larry Scott, their former commissioner, and I'm putting a lot of faith in Klavikoff, the new commissioner, to be able to articulate to the members of the Pac-12, if you want to continue to exist, you've got to do a couple of things here. That means expansion. That means getting some of your games on when, and this is a crazy concept, guys, when people can actually see them. And if he can articulate that in a short amount of time, we got something going on. But yeah, I think it is for Texas Tech, for Oklahoma State, and I believe fervently for Kansas State. And I'm not just saying this because I'm on with you guys. I've been saying this for the last couple of weeks, that I think those are the three Big 12 schools that bring the best logical argument to the table for the Pac-12 to expand up and down the central time zone, give you, you get Colorado back in there, maybe Utah, whatever, however you want to structure it with the quadrants. Those are the three best schools.
So do you get the feeling that the most likely scenario with the Pac-12 would be for a 20-team conglomerate to wind up coming out of that to pool TV rights, or would it be a group of 4 teams like you were talking about there earlier that would be the most likely scenario?
I think it's more 4 because of where Fox is right now. And really, the proxy war we are fighting right now with these schools is a proxy war between ESPN and Fox Sports. Fox Sports has given up a lot of their additional platforms. They're not as positioned to go to battle against ESPN as well as they were 5-10 years ago. Gave up FX. They've given up a lot of, just other platforms. The regional networks really hurts Fox. So they can only absorb so much. I think the logical scenario is 16 in the Pac, 16 in the Big Ten, that Fox holds the majority of rights. And if they do that, then you kind of put a firewall against the SEC and the ACC. They're at the Mississippi River, going back up through the Big Ten, area footprint north and going back east, and then obviously the Mountain West. That you, if you are Fox looking at this, and if you really want to get after it, you de facto make ESPN's holdings a very regionalized network. It's very southeast and eastern seaboard at that point that Fox could end up holding much more of the footprint of the country with those 32 teams, saying that you go to 4 in the Pac and you go to 4. They need 2 more, obviously, in the Big Ten. So it's, to me, I think that is the logical number right now. I will say this, though. I think everything will dissolve and go crazy again in 5 to 7 years as these TV contracts come up. We get more into streaming online, your Amazon Prime game of the week. That is where I think we're heading for so much of this stuff. But that's my initial thought right now.
Yeah, the other school that I kept hearing linked to the Pac-12 was, and obviously it's been linked some to Big 12 expansion as well, initially was Houston. Now, that seems to be obviously a big deal with Baylor, TCU, Tech, because it could be elevating another school from the state of Texas that, hey, maybe sleeping giant there with how big the school is and obviously the massive media market that it's located in there. How big of a deal is that to Tech, TCU, and Baylor if Houston were to be going somewhere, whether it's coming to the Big 12 or going to the Pac-12?
If Houston's in, TCU and Baylor are out. And there are many who believe, and I think rightfully so, first off, Baylor is dead on arrival in the Pac-12. Religious school. They've got 4 no votes, hard no votes in the Pac-12 already. Baylor's a non-starter. TCU has tried to distance themselves from being a small, religious school, and they even would put it in their media guides. Don't call us Texas Christian University. We're TCU. All right, well, I'm not, whatever we want to do. Baylor's dead on arrival. If they need that 4th school, and Houston has major enrollment. Obviously, they give you a nice sized, 4th largest, market in the country when you get right down to it. But they are under the specter of being a commuter type school. They are a Tier 1 research university. They're not AAU. They bring some to the table. If I had to rank it right now on who had the better chance of getting in with Tech out of Texas to the Pac-12, I would rank it Houston, TCU, and then Baylor.